From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy. The vitamins. The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
That's right, everybody. Live edition of Wake Up Warchant. Thanks so much for joining us. Hit the thumbs up. That just simply spreads the word to other people, puts the bat signal out there that the show's going on. Warchant TV is in full effect. We appreciate you being here. That's Corey. I'm Aslan. Keep looking at that open, Corey, and need to do a reshoot for multiple reasons. You and Ira both have shed about a Backstreet Boy each off of your physiques.
Sure.
Leonard no longer the head coach for hoops.
Yeah.
And but I just don't want to make a new one because there might be somebody else in that video I gotta swap out. So kind of waiting for all that to settle, if you will.
All right, okay.
But speaking of hoops, you're here, everybody. Afterwards, when we're done, stick around. We'll be publishing our basketball signing day video featuring Joe Tipton, Jamie Shaw, and Ira Schofield. The whole thing is helmed by our guy, Matt Lasser, who might be the hardest working guy in college sports this week. Our guy, Matt, went down to Gainesville last night for the basketball game, came back up, was at interviews this morning, knocked out a video for the Warchant Report with Andy Bitter of Tech Sideline to get the lowdown on the Hokies, and then did all this signing day coverage for basketball today. And he's got this video up for your consumption after we are done on the live show. Corey Clark, how are you, my friend? I love all the new angles we get at the new home, man. It looks beautiful.
I can't wait till I get my own studio, though. That's coming, I guess, in the off season. We got 3 weeks, and then by next year, it's going to be. I'm going to have you talk about lavish. It's going to be like a man cave, just of memorabilia, Florida State memorabilia, Atlanta. It's going to be great, Aslan. But I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing wonderful. I wanted to ask you before we get started. We'll talk about hoops too. Like really, really impressive showing. I know it's a loss, but that might. It's a. You never want to lose, but I thought they were 18.5-point underdogs. And I think if that kid doesn't hit that corner three in the final minute for Florida, kind of out of nowhere, I thought, I think Florida State probably wins that game. But they played really well and really hard. And that was fun to see. That was encouraging for sure, even though they didn't shoot it well because Florida's very good defensively. But I saw on the message boards, I didn't listen to the interview we had with the Virginia Tech beat writer on yesterday's show.
You didn't listen to my hard work?
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, I did not. But some people were not. I don't think umbrage is the right word, but were a little confused or bewildered, or they took it. They were not happy that he seemed to laugh off the notion that James Franklin would come to Florida State. Is that how you read it? Because I haven't. Is that how you thought he meant whatever he meant with the little laugh he might have had about something?
No, but at the same token, I'm usually doing this. I'm looking into the camera. Meanwhile, my computer monitor's down here, so I didn't get to see. I heard him like kind of chortle mildly about something, but I didn't take any umbrage. I don't think he was taking a shot at Florida State, but I saw our guy Grumpy BK started a thread about like, this is where we're at right now, where the Virginia Tech guy is laughing at us because James Franklin might go to Virginia. I didn't take that at all. But it is crazy the way he talked about it. Just I don't know, man. I haven't been all that plugged into what's going on in Blacksburg, but like they've apparently made a really strong offer, like a Will Wade size offer. To James Franklin, but he has not.
He's still not there.
So,
still not there. I wonder what he's waiting for.
Yeah. Why? Would you take umbrage? What would somebody?
Well, if he was laughing at the notion that James Franklin would choose Florida State over Virginia Tech, or that James Franklin would be interested in Florida State, then I would take umbrage with it. But I didn't hear the exchange or the context, so I didn't know what he was exactly laughing at. Because, I mean, come on, man. I thought Franklin said he wanted to go win championships. He said that on ESPN Game Day. Virginia Tech. Has Virginia Tech won a championship in anything? Legitimately anything in our lifetimes?
Equestrian, maybe?
Maybe. I know they've had a couple they had a couple really good shot putters. So they maybe won some individual field championships, but I don't think team sports they've won anything. Certainly not football. They got close 25 years ago, and 26 years ago, and then Peter Warwick happened, and they lost.
That's right. Maybe somebody in the comments might know. Let's start this show off with Aaron, and not just any Aaron, everybody. Aaron P.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thank you, Aaron. $5 in the jar. Call me a conspiracy theorist. But if they haven't made a move yet, I've got to think it's because they already have a replacement lined up. Jimbo.
Eyes emoji. Yeah.
Eyes emoji.
I don't think that necessarily. Again, like Ira's written and we've talked about, I don't think they're just standing pat, just twiddling their thumbs. I think they have something, either it's in motion or it's mostly set. But I am of the opinion still, and I know I could be in the minority and I could be 100% incorrect, that it really will depend on these next 3 games. Honestly, that's not true. It'll depend on the next 2 games. If he loses either one of the next 2 games, I think there's an announcement made before the Florida game. So he needs to win these next 2 games, and then, excuse me, maybe it's a conversation after that. As far as Jimbo, look, I'm not on board with the Jimbo love. I'm not on board with bringing Jimbo back. Not because I have any ill will towards the man. He did leave, but it's not even that. Like it's what he did after he left, and the sport has changed quite a bit. So there's no indication. I know he was really good 15 years ago in building a program, great at it. Didn't sustain it, but he built it really, really well. And then he went through some personal stuff, and you get a second chance. It's just that the way Jimbo was in the modern era of college football doesn't fill me with a lot of hope that he'd be good here. But he'd be better. Like, I think that's what people would argue in return. It's like, well, he wouldn't do this. No. And I 100% agree with that. Jimbo would never have a team like this, ever. He wouldn't have had a team like last year. That just would not have happened under Jimbo's watch. It absolutely wouldn't. So, yes, the floor is raised. I don't know if the ceiling in 2026, I just don't know, man. I just, again, I did the numbers. I think he's 22-25 in his last 47 conference games, including his last year at Florida State, not including the COVID year. If you include the COVID year, because he went 9-1 that year, he's a little bit over 500 conference play, but he got fired at A&M. He left Florida State when it was 5-6, and then he left A&M when it was 5-6. And in the middle wasn't anything great. He got good players. They didn't do anything. And he got fired. And now the guy that took over at A&M is awesome and has that program doing things Jimbo couldn't dream of doing, apparently. So that gives me a little pause.
We have a comment after a super sticker from Needle Knight. You dropped $5.
That's a good question. Thank you, Needle Knight.
Needle Knight says, what would Jimbo say in a sit-down interview with the 2 of you when asked what he would do differently this time if he's at the helm?
The problem with Jimbo is, and I don't know if it's a problem. I shouldn't say that. It's my perspective of it, and I think I have a good one. I was here his whole time. That was a 10-year run, and I think we had a decent relationship. We had a good relationship, certainly better than his and Iris. He liked me more. We had a good enough relationship. My issue with Jimbo, if he were to come back, or if he just were to sit on this show and talk about what went wrong, I don't think he'd be truthful. I don't think he would be truthful, and he would not take accountability. And he could literally, if he came on this show and said, you know what, I made some coaching decisions that in hindsight weren't the best for the program. I probably should have gone different directions on a couple of coaches. Obviously, I missed on the quarterbacks. And you know what? With 10 years of hindsight, I know I was a pain in the ass because I wanted Florida State to be great. And so I was constantly a pain in the ass with the boosters, trying to get everything we needed for the long haul. And I was impatient, but greatness doesn't wait. Greatness isn't patient. And I thought we could be great. And I saw greener grass somewhere else. And I regret that I didn't wait just a little bit longer, because I think this thing would have been really good for the long haul. They have built this place up to have great resources or great facilities. And I really regret that I left, because I didn't quite appreciate how special this place is.
Is it more important for you that he actually says that or feels that? Because I think he feels that.
I do too. I do. How could he not? But I mean, at some point, I do think he probably, I would hope, I guess I don't know how he feels. I would hope he feels that way. because look at where you went. You had everything under the sun, and you won jack squat. You didn't do anything with it. At Florida State, you put together a 29-game winning streak and the best team and one of the best teams in college football history. You didn't do that at A&M. You did that at Florida State. Florida State needed you. You were good for Florida State. You obviously needed Florida State too. Florida State was very good to you as well. I would love that a little more. I would like that kind of sentiment. And also just take $100,000 as your pay and come on board, Jimbo. $100K with some incentives. Get to an ACC championship game, you bump it up. I do wonder, and not even a Florida State specific question, because I don't think it's likely they would bring him back. But he does want to coach again. He will coach again. I am genuinely curious what he would do differently, and what if he has been humbled, because he had never been fired before. If he was humbled by what happened at A&M, and self-reflective of what he did wrong and what he could do better this time around in this modern era of college football.
Yeah, a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Maybe also realizes you just can't burn it at both ends, man. I think he almost would be forced to have to delegate more or trust somebody else, which is good. Like he needs better assistants too. I mean, listen, Grant,
yes.
He had Elko, he had DJ Durkin, he still couldn't win at A&M. I get it, but like in terms of him having somebody helping out with the offense, all right, man, you want to be the offensive coordinator, you want to set the menu for the weekend, you actually want to call the plays. I mean, that might be a bridge.
I would definitely not allow that. There's no way I'd let him run the offense if he came back to Florida State. I watched his teams at Texas A&M. They just weren't good offensively. He hasn't had a good offense literally in 12 years. And he's coached 11 of those years. He's had some great players, but overall not a very good offense. I mean, 16 was a good offense. But other than that, they had really some down years. Even when they were winning, they had some down games and they were not consistent. But what I was going to say is what always bothered me, even more than the way he left and the fact that he talked about how he kind of made mention that, or he would tell people, I think, off the record, how little Florida State cared about football or knew what they were doing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, how many of those assistants at Florida State did he take with him to College Station? That's what's always bothered me. Always bothered me. Like if Charles Kelly wasn't good enough for Texas A&M, what in the world was he doing in Tallahassee for you? If Rick Trickett wasn't your offensive line coach, why was he in Tallahassee for a decade? Like why? I think maybe he took Damian Craig and like Coley maybe, or one other coach, two other coaches, but all the rest were jettisoned. It's like, well, why were they here then, man? If they weren't good enough to go with you, then why did you subject Florida State to them? So and it's not like, we got more money at A&M to hire better coaches. No, man, Florida State had a top 10 assistant coaching staff in the country. Like his assistants were paid elite money at the time. And he still had that staff. He put that staff together.
We were going to be talking about quarterbacks on the Warchant Report, but Corey wasn't on this week's edition of the Warchant Report, so we can go ahead and pull this up. Bill Connolly, ESPN.com, ranked every Power 4 quarterback after 2 months of the season, Corey. I think there's 68 guys. Where do you think Tommy Castellanos ranked?
Well, I saw it. I think I saw it on the message board. That would have been about where I put him.
Guess who he's just behind? John Mateer of Oklahoma, who at one point was a Heisman frontrunner. Tommy ranked 33rd. He's ahead of Arch Manning. He's ahead of Chandler Morris. He's ahead of DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway's way down the list. He's ahead of Bryce Underwood from Michigan, Garrett Nussmeier. Who'd have thunk that? But he's also behind 32 other people. If that's what you would have known, is that what you thought you were getting with Tommy, Corey, going into the season?
I think, honestly, other than I just thought we'd see more special out of him in the ground game, like we did against Alabama. That kind of fizzled out, I think, because of the injury. But this is absolutely who I thought Florida State was getting. He's a guy that can make plays with his legs, that helps the running game immensely because of his presence back there. And as I said, when they got him in January, and I said in August, and I even said after the Alabama game, he's going to make some throws that you're like, what in the world, man? But he's also going to make enough good throws that makes it worth it because of what he does for the ground game. But holy cow, man, he's up and down. But this is what he is. This is what he is. He's had a couple bad games. I would say Stanford, he wasn't very good. Obviously, Clemson, I don't think he was very good. But they should never be in a position where he's throwing the ball 43 times. The Wake Forest game, the Alabama game, the Virginia game until the end. The Virginia game in the first half. I think that's the perfect Tommy Castellanos experience, and it's gotten away from him in a few games. But yeah, we knew he wasn't going to be an All-American. I thought he'd be a good fit with Malzahn's offense, and on the whole, we're 9 games in. He has been a good fit. They have been much better, but he's not incredible, and he's not an All-American. I would think in that number right there, he's got, 9 games in? He's got 428 rushing yards that doesn't include sacks. I thought that would be closer to 600, 650.
That's probably 2 wins.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably about 2 wins worth. All right. I don't really want to talk about these, but we'll do it. I'll actually we'll go first in, first out. Octavio. Hey, homies. Would you say that Gus and Tony's scheme might need a little more time to implement to get the best out of it? Possible that returning the entire staff could give us greatness.
Yeah. I literally, I would say this. Nobody wants to hear this. I know my co-host certainly doesn't want to hear this. Ask me again in 3 weeks. If they're 7-5, maybe there's a bandwagon I could latch on to, like a carriage next to it or something. But no, I haven't. I like Tony's scheme. Like, I was looking at this, Aslan, and I know Wake's not a very good offense, but Florida State has the 28th best rushing defense in the country right now. But their last 2 games, Wake averaged 2.1 yards per carry, and Clemson averaged 2.7 yards per carry. They're doing some things on defense that are impressive. Like going up to Clemson, I know Clemson kind of shut it down when they had the lead there in the fourth quarter, but Clemson scored 2 touchdowns. Clemson's a very good offense. And they scored 2 touchdowns at home with and one of them was on a 39-yard scoring drive when you went for it on 4th down and dropped a pass. Like, that's pretty good. The turnover margin is horrible. The 4th down conversion percentage defense, I was going to say, I think they got 2 stops against Alabama. In fact, I know they did on 4th down. They might have gotten 1 against Kent State. And I think teams are 10 for their last 10 against Florida State, or 12 for their last 12 on 4th down. They are not good on short yardage defense. They're not good on 4th and short. But overall, it's a good defense. It's not a good team. It's a good offense, and it's not a good team. It's kind of perplexing, but it is what it is. I think the defense is good. I think Tony White is good. But again, they might if they give up 300 yards rushing to Virginia Tech, fire them all. Fire Gus, even if his offense does well.
Listen, I get it. What's up?
We're right. Like, you can't look at Tony White and what he's done with this defense compared to what it was last year. With this personnel, which is not very good, he's not stacked with defensive linemen they're going to play in the league. They're an above average college football defense.
They're about average, man. I mean,
I mean, the numbers don't back it up.
Wake Forest can't play from behind. I mean, they had to abandon the run game. Clemson hasn't run the ball well at all this season. I mean, it's a good offense overall. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I don't want to give too much away. It's another thing that we talked about in Warchant report. It is interesting to me that there are a lot of people that listen. I might be in the minority on this one. I'm not a believer in Tony White. I don't say throw him overboard, but I don't really know how much I believe in him to turn this thing around if you give him another year. And it just, so to what end, everybody? Like, all right, so one more year.
But I guess I was going to ask you this. Let's say they do make a change, but they hire an offensive coach and they hire Hartline, my man Hartline. And they're like, look, you're not bringing Ohio State's defensive coordinator with you. We're keeping Tony White. He's got a 2-year contract. We owe him. We're not paying him a buyout. We like him. We like what he's done with the program. Would you be willing to come here and work with Tony White? Remember, Brian Hartline's team went up against Tony White's defense the last 2 years in Nebraska. And that Nebraska defense went into Columbus and almost won that game one side of the ball. and gave up like 2 touchdowns against the national champs. So he's impressed with Tony White. And again, this is a extreme hypothetical. But I know you say you're not impressed with Tony White, but what's he supposed to have done? I know they didn't play well against Virginia, but that was also 2 months ago. His side of the ball actually appears to be getting better.
I don't think they played well against Miami. They came out flat against Miami.
That was a month ago.
Well, that doesn't matter. So Mike Norvell lost 10 games last year. It was last year. It doesn't matter. I mean, they didn't look good against Pitt. So
that's the one.
They were down 18-0 in the first half at Clemson, man. It was curtains. They couldn't do anything on offense. It was 18-0. They're like, all right, man, let's just not do anything stupid. They were hiking the ball with like 3 seconds left on the clock in the first half. They wanted to shorten that game because they didn't believe they were going to be able to.
I would say, though, what I'm looking at from the lens of Tony White and what he's done with this defense is I don't see. Not only he didn't get a great or even a good offensive line brought to him. Jason Jenkins isn't just a guy. Deontay Diggs hasn't done anything. Daniel Jackson has
Demonte Diggs has been out for a long time.
And McCray's made some plays, but he's nothing special. They don't have anything special on defense, and I don't think they spend a lot of money on defense. And he's still doing things with it. He's still making progress on a side of the ball that I don't think has a great deal of talent. The best players are young guys or guys that he identified. Jabril Rawls, Earl Little. They weren't playing with Adam Fuller. They weren't on the field, and now they are. I think Barker is a guy that he identified. I just trust his evaluation in his ability to develop game plan scheme. The Pitt game was a disaster. It just was. That was not a Tony White defense. Since that game, though, I think they've been the best part of this team by far. Again, yeah, they were down 18-0 to Clemson, and of course they gave up the long drive. They also got a third down stop 4 plays into the game because it's 2025. They go for it on 4th down from their own 34. Just the way the world works now. 10 years ago, Mickey Andrews is getting them off the field. That's a punt, baby. But now it's a whole. You got to stop them for 4 downs. So I know that's we weren't expecting greatness on that side of the ball. We wanted just to be average. And I think they're better than average, especially considering I just trust his evaluation and his ability to bring in better players and to run that scheme with his guys, because he's still doing it with guys that aren't even fits for this team yet. Wait till he gets real linebackers, if he can get them, like really good linebackers and better guys up front. Or the Desir brothers are older. Like Kevin Wynn will probably be a legitimate 3-4 nose tackle. I've been impressed with what they've done throughout the course of the season. I think the offense is going the other way. I think the defense is getting better. But you're right, it does help. They haven't played. Like Stanford's offense is a joke. Wake's offense is not any good. And Clemson did throttle it down. But, I mean, Clemson had just scored 45 points. And they scored 6 points in the second half. With your offense doing jack squat.
Yeah, I'm not anti Tony White. I'm not seeing all the greatness. That's it. That's all I'm saying. You can see the greatness that is Corey Clark. Friday, 5 p.m. at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. You can come up right to him and shake his hand.
Yeah.
Like, Corey, listen to you all the time. Read your stuff all the time. Love you. You can do that free of charge. Go on to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway.
Hey, I'll even take pictures with people, Aslan.
Do that.
Well, you will too. You take pictures with people. You keep saying you're going to see Corey Clark as if Aslan isn't going to be there in the flesh.
You're there. I'm not punctual. You're there punctual.
Oh,
so,
okay. Gotcha.
I usually get there like 5:15, 5:30-ish. You know that downtown Tallahassee traffic on a Friday coming from Midtown, buddy. It's tough. You
know what else? I think the soccer team plays their opening round game Friday at 5 o'clock. So I would obviously, they're going to win that game. If they don't win that game, you're not going to want to be there anyway. It'd be depressing. They're going to win that game. So maybe leave at halftime to come over to Corner Pocket once they're up 3 goals, or just sit it out and go to the next game, round 2. And the beauty about Corner Pocket is old Bill will have the soccer game on one of the TVs. I can promise you, the chains that come in here that call themselves sports bars, that consider themselves chains, they're going to have Around the Horn on. with no volume. And why would you want to hear it anyway? Bill's going to actually have a Florida State athletic event on the TVs, much like he did Tuesday night at trivia with the Noles basketball team on all the TVs as we're still playing trivia. That's how Bill rolls, man.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and NAPA Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We're back. Questions remain mostly the same. Wes, Villages, highs, the lows of this season have been absolutely nuts. Well, really high, singular. What do you really feel in your heart how these last 3 games go? I think 2-1, but Mike Norvell still needs to go.
I think they're going 3-0. I think they're going 3-0.
Okay.
And I'm not joking. I think they're going to win the next 3. And it's because
no, you don't. You're so invested in this now, Corey.
No. I absolutely do. I do think they're going to win the next 3. I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech. I think we both think that. I think they are due to play a road game well, and nobody expects them to. I think that's the kind of time they can strike. And play an NC State team that they'll be fired up for Friday night. I think they're going to win that game. I think they're going to actually play well again. I think they're going to play well for the first time in 3 years on the road. And then Florida, I think Florida by that time, after playing Tennessee and Ole Miss, who knows who's even playing for them at that point. And so I think they're going to win that game. And the reason I say that, I genuinely do. I do think they're going to – I shouldn't say I genuinely do. I think there's a decent chance that happens. But the reason it would happen is because, of course, it would happen. Mike Norvell wants to make it as hard as possible for Florida State to do, to take this Band-Aid off. But also, it's just fitting for Florida State, the way this last decade has gone, that it can't just be simple and easy. It's got to be like, well, gosh, darn, he did go 7-5. They just got invited to the Gator Bowl. We're going to fire him after he went 7-5 and just ended with 4 wins in 5 games, and all these guys are coming back. Like, I know that's what everybody wants. I think that's probably what the administration wants. But that's why it won't happen, because Florida State can't have nice, easy things. And he's going to decide right now, not in October when real things were on the line and you could have had a great season, but now it's going to be the time when it's too late to go on a run and look like a competent, well-coached, talented, good football team. That would just be fitting. That would be absolutely fitting, because it'd be so easy. You go out Saturday night and lose to Virginia Tech 30-10. Yeah, man, we all know. We all know what's happening Sunday. At least I think so. If you go to NC State and lose, we all know what's happening that Sunday before the Florida game. It's not going to be like that. That's too easy. It's too easy. So it's going to be this. Just saying, man. I called it. Remember, everybody, I called it.
What about Ryan Grubb at Alabama? Quantrell knows queries as FSU head coach. Haven't heard his name much. He knows college quarterbacks: Michael Penix Jr., Ty Simpson, Geno Smith.
He coached Geno. With the Seahawks.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't count. Was he at West Virginia with Geno, or was he at
no,
with the? But he was with the Seahawks. He was
somewhere in the Dakotas with Kalen DeBoer then.
That's not a bad play. He was at Indiana too.
Yeah, with DeBoer.
He's coached in the Big Ten, the Pac-12, or I guess when he was at Washington. When the Washington was the Pac-12 still.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's coached in the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the SEC, and the NFL. Yeah, man, sign me up.
Oh, actually, I take it back. He wasn't in Indiana. He stayed behind. He did not follow DeBoer to Indiana. So there you go. Dakotas, far-flung places, check mark in the Aslan Hajavandi head coaching profile like that.
Oh, boy. Man, that's a lot of Sioux Falls. And
well, that's what Kalen DeBoer was
at. Eastern Michigan. I know, but then it's like, okay, is it a DeBoer function or a Grubb function? I would say this. The offense certainly looks much better with him there than it did last year when he wasn't. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's the quarterback, but he gets credit for either being like, we're using this quarterback or making this quarterback significantly better than the quarterback they kept trotting out there last year that couldn't throw the football. They're similar to what Florida State fans might feel.
And I think Castellanos throws it even better than Milroe. I think that's how bad Milroe was as a thrower. Sure. It's intriguing and appealing that he has quarterback success, because I think at the end of the day, man, I feel like there's got to be an avenue where you get yourself a really good quarterback. That's a key to the whole operation, man. It is a key to the whole thing. When you start flipping this thing to an NFL mindset, which it is, the quarterback's everything. So what is the best chance to bring in a top-notch elite quarterback? And that would be I feel like a guy that coached Penix in college and coached Ty Simpson to maybe the Heisman would be at least an intriguing prospect. 2 years, 3 years in big boy football isn't a ton. So I don't know how much he's done recruiting. And just his name, how much it rings out, but I would love a guy that could bring in a quarterback.
Just thinking about it, I don't think Gus has ever recruited a high school quarterback and had great success. I don't know if he's ever had anybody like more than just 2 seasons.
Does Bo Nix count?
I think he only was there for like 2 years of Bo Nix, and then he got fired. I think like he was gone in 2022.
No, I'm saying, but he recruited him. He got him to Auburn, but he wasn't any good with Gus.
It was not.
And I'm not even sure he's good in the NFL. I'll be honest with you. I know they've got a good record, but he's not an easy watch.
Like Jarrett Stidham's in the league, but Jarrett Stidham was a transfer. Obviously, Cam was a transfer, 1-year guy. Nick Marshall.
Nick Marshall was a Georgia defensive back. And then
Jeremy Johnson. So I mean, you talk about guys that have been around it, no big boy football, no real dudes. Somebody who knows quarterbacks. They need somebody who knows quarterbacks. Gabe Jimenez.
All right, Gabe. All right. I like this question.
Our guy Mark did some cursory research for us, Gabe, in a show last week. But anyhow, is it unusual for most teams to practice early in the morning, and is that deterring high-level teenagers from signing with FSU? If I could tack this onto it too, Corey, I would assume this would be one of the things you would bring up in your comprehensive review of the football program at the end of the year if you kept the head coach.
Yeah.
What are maybe some other things you would think could come up to salvage this if you're going to roll this dude back out there? And how unusual do you think it is? Is it deterring high-level players from signing with the Noles?
So if I was Michael Alford, and look, I know Mark did a cursory research on Google. I would legitimately, and I could do it, I could just DM like beat writers at Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, on and on, Oregon. A&M. I think Oregon is one of the ones, A&M. Literally just all the Power 4 athletic directors. So whatever that's 60 teams, and see how many of them practice in the morning. I would guess it's less than 10. It might be less than 5, but I would think it's probably around 10 or 12. And I would go to my head coach and say, yeah, man, I know nobody would ever tell you this. And it's not somebody you'd want on your team anyway, because they got to be all in and work hard. But there are some college kids that do enjoy having fun at night and do enjoy college life. And they don't want to feel like an old married dad at 43 years old that has to get up at 6:30 in the morning to get the kids ready for school. And that's the schedule you have these kids on. And it's not fun for them. Again, I've been beating that drum for 7 years. I shut up when they were really good for those 19 games. But now I'm back beating that drum because I don't know if it loses you 5 recruits a year or if it hasn't lost them a single one. But I know that other coaches don't. You're not reinventing the wheel, man. Bobby Bowden coached in the afternoon. Jimbo Fisher did it in the afternoon. I know the 2 people that have done it in the morning, Willie Taggart and Mike Norvell. So do with that with what you will. Kirby Smart coaches in the afternoon. Nick Saban felt it was all right to coach football in the afternoon. I feel like that's the natural order and timeline of things when it comes to football. They play all their games in the afternoon or night. They don't play them at 9 in the morning. And I think that's screwed with them in Stanford. They played like they were half asleep because they're used to being asleep at 11 o'clock at night, which is not a fun way to experience college anyway. But that's me. I'm not a morning person. There are plenty of morning people. I'm not a morning person, so I'm kind of projecting there a little bit. But I can tell you this. If you wanted the 5'9" DB out of Meadow Creek High School in 1990, whatever, he wasn't coming if he had to practice at 8 in the morning. That's a non-starter.
Try to look up. I couldn't find it in the game notes for Ohio State, because why would all these schools have a unified way they did their game notes? But I was able to find A&M, Texas A&M, not East, but just Texas
right.
A&M. They practice in the morning.
They do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong, Norvell. Just get better morning guys. Get more morning guys, or put more guys in the league, and you can practice at 3 in the morning. They'll come and play for you.
This will pick up your spirits in the midst of chaos.
Joel, you got to save that for the buyout, my man.
Where's Straight Cash, homie? We haven't played that one in a long time. That was really too low.
Joel Davis, $500 in the jar.
Joel's the dude. Yeah. Joel, help us out, man. Save us. Please.
Well, hey, we'll take it, though. Thank you very much. I'll donate some of that to the cause. Thank you very much. And Joel Davis, I wasn't thinking of him. That's not true. I'm thinking of him now, clearly. It's red on the screen, big money. But he's a Florida State basketball fan. He's got the seats, or he did have the seats near the bench last year, the year before, or both. I wonder what his take is on the basketball team, because I feel like a lot of people were very intrigued by the Noles on Tuesday night. Going in there, playing so hard, having the lead for an hour, withstanding that run and getting back in the game. Like, Florida went on a run when you thought, okay, this one's over. Florida State couldn't make any shots, but McCray took over the game. It's pretty cool. You got a guy that can have 17 assists one night and then 30 points against the defending national champs 2 games later. Florida's very good defensively. Florida State couldn't do everything they wanted. That's why McCray was taking so many shots at the rim, was because they were staying on the shooters and not crashing and helping like Florida State wanted them to do. And they didn't shoot the ball well, and they were still very close to winning that game. That was very encouraging, and it could be a really exciting, fun Florida State basketball season. But thank you, Joel, and I hope to see you at one of the games.
We popped a comment on this. By the way, he says he was going to give a hundo, but he gave 5 because he took a vitamin energy and it made him give more. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what vitamin energy does, guys. Yeah, take
it. Gives you money. You'll find $400 in your shirt pocket. Get vitamin energy, everybody. warchantbogo, your promo code, buy one, get one free. We had it up on the screen for a second. Somebody said that Southern Cal right now has got the #1 class in the nation, and they practice at 7 a.m., which sounded like bull feathers. I think it is, because post-practice interviews are done at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd practice it. So that wouldn't make any sense on any level to practice at 7 a.m. And I know Pete Carroll didn't. I know they used to practice in the afternoon. So I'm sure there's a rhyme and a reason to it. I don't know. I would say this. I think there's a better chance that you lose a few kids who are not at all excited about getting up at 6:30 every day to go practice football. You just woke up, man. Who wants to go do that? That's more of like, go to school and get your mind and body ready for the later in the afternoon when you go practice football. Even if it's just a handful of kids, I can promise you've lost more, even if it's one that didn't want to deal with that schedule, then you've lost somebody that didn't want to practice. Like, man, I can guarantee you, let's say Georgia, they have not lost a kid because the kid was like, I want to practice in the morning. I want to practice football in the morning. I want to get up early. I don't like this practicing at 4:00. What is this? So it's just not, but it's not, I don't know how much weight there is. I bet it's not 0%, but it's not like 50% either. It's just minimal, but minimal is still something. What are you looking at?
I'm trying to find as many schools as I can. I couldn't find
Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay.
Looks like Washington does coordinator and player press conference at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. So I would imagine that's probably after practice. But it's not crack.
I don't know. It could be before.
It could be before. Maybe 1 p.m. Here we go. Here's a good question that I don't want to answer. Dazu, what was our expectations for this season? I think we've been playing as predicted. Completely new staff and team. I don't know why everyone thought we'd be better than 9-3 at best. Well, you're not even close to 9-3. That's kind of the problem.
Well, hey. When they rip off these three straight wins, that's close to 9-3.
Well, I get it, man. Like, I didn't have high expectations going into the season, but the standard has been redefined. And for me, again, I hate to keep saying it because you guys are nauseous of me saying it like every other show. Man, be in the playoff hunt in November. Like, that was my expectation. I get it where they were last year. They were 2-10. They were terrible. They were a horrible football team. They had no chance. They had no chance to beat a Power 4 team after the month of September. They had none. They were that bad. Yeah. This team is not that. But this team's not good enough, man. Not good enough in year 6. There's not enough here that's been earned and deserved to give you another shot at this. Again, like, what if they rip off? What if they go in and beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa next year and they start off 4-0, but then they have another 3-game losing streak? What? We're going to find ourselves in the same Groundhog Day. So, yeah, man, my expectations were not that high, but they had to do something big this season, man, to turn this thing around. Turning it around is not 7-5, man. That's not a turnaround. That's not a quick, immediate fix. It's not.
And I think, even if they go 7-5, which is an enormous if at this point, nobody except me is in the whole world is expecting that. Maybe me and Norvell. But also, when you do beat Alabama the way you beat Alabama, it does recalibrate things. And then to go have the same team that beat Alabama and played like that, not just played well, but played urgent and physical and violent and inspired. And then we're watching those same players wearing those same uniforms give up 34 to Pitt, lose to Stanford. Like that, it's again, I keep using it, and I'm not being, it's a schizophrenic, bipolar program. And that's what I think is so frustrating is that why would that element get any better? His teams don't seemingly get better as the season goes. They get worse. That's happened with this one too. Overall, the defense has improved, but the offense hasn't because the offense never gets better. Really, it doesn't seem as the season goes on. And no matter who's the coordinator or the quarterback. And I just think that I get it. 7-5, you could squint and get to 9-3, say if things break a certain way, but it's hard to. The Stanford loss is just the killer. The Stanford loss is when you're like, there's no excuse to have a team like this in year 6 in that stadium, again, with those weird fans, the ones that were even there, against that bad football team and lose that game. You can't lose that game. With everything on the line, knowing what it meant to go out there and play like that, it's fireable. It's why coaches get fired for performances like that. They could come back and rip off a few wins. Maybe he saves his job. But nobody has confidence that this guy will ever have a program that produces, that has elite talent, that plays up to its potential more often than not. This team has played well 2 out of 9 games. 2 out of 7 games. They did play well in those other 2, but they don't count. That's a 286 batting average. At least get to 400 or 500.
Well, there's only Ted Williams, buddy. Come on now.
Well, right. 286 ain't cutting it, man. You've got to play better more often than that. And it's been, that's not how you keep your job. But yeah, I think it's because of the way it's looked, which is what I said all offseason. A 4-game losing streak, it just deflates everything, especially when you beat Alabama. You can't beat Alabama and then look the way you look 4 weeks later. It's impossible. And oh, by the way, I know I was just singing Tony White's praises, and I believe it. I do. I think he's a good coach, and I wouldn't be sad at all if he was still the coordinator here next year with a different head coach, maybe. But Virginia's offense sucks. It's not any good at all. And you let them score 41 on you when you were the number 3 or 4 team in the country. That's not a good look either. Now, in hindsight, that team was not very good at all. Offensively.
Miami had no business being up on you, whatever,
28-3. Yeah, the 28-3 to Miami, 18-0 to Clemson, losing to Stanford, losing to Pitt. Although, again, I do the way you played against Pitt, the way you came out against that game, it's like, man, there's no way to trust that this thing will ever get better. There's no signs that it will get better, and you will have to do so much replacing anyway. It's not like this is a young team full of sophomores that you recruited that are the reason you're putting up these yards and points. A lot of it, the whole line is seniors.
Come to the dark side. Welcome, Corey Clark. Let's get back on the winning side.
I thought somebody just gave us a tip.
Underdog Fantasy Sports. Here it is. We have got our Florida State, Virginia Tech pick'ems. You just got to download an app and just decide if you want to go higher or lower, everybody. Let's go. Tommy Castellanos, 243.5 passing yards, 243.5, 31.5 rushing yards. Higher, lower, or passing touchdowns. You want to go higher or lower, Corey?
I think they're going to score 5 touchdowns. So he'll probably, what are his passing touchdowns?
1.5.
Higher.
Boom. Kyron Drones, 64.5 rushing yards.
So he's averaged 100 yards in the last 3 games rushing. That's a big part of their offense. Yeah, man, I think Florida State's going to be dialed in on that. I don't want to hit that one. I don't want to do the rushing yards.
All right.
What else did we have? Yeah, let's do. I think he'll have a rushing touchdown.
Okay.
Is there one of those? Okay.
Yep. Sam Singleton or Gavin Sawchuk touchdown?
Singleton.
Ooh.
Is it a rushing or is it any kind of touchdown?
Rushing or
perfect.
receiving.
Yeah, perfect. Going to get Singleton out of the backfield.
And let's see, Deuce and Mekhi Danzy, 4.5 catches for Deuce, 3.5 for Mekhi, 45.5 receiving yards for Mekhi, 86.5 for Deuce Robinson.
How about higher on Deuce's catches?
Okay. Bada bing, bada boom. That's a nearly 7-1 payout over at Underdog Fantasy Sports. Download the app today. Sign up a promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. At some point, I will record the disclaimer to play it when we do the video, but I'm going to have to do it right now. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Corey, if Florida State wins their last 4 games of the season, will you do the disclaimer, please?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, if they win the bowl game. Yeah, if they win the bowl game, I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Heck yeah, everybody. You're welcome. Never lose your nerd. $2 in the jar. Thank you, man.
Dollar bills, y'all.
That's not a question. He doesn't share up. Yeah, they'll probably beat Virginia Tech. I don't know what you want. Corey, don't stop. Corey, be who you are all times, man. Don't let people.
Hey, man, sometimes people go against the grain. Hey, it's just the law of averages. At some point, you got to win on the road. It's just how sports works. At some point, you have to win on the road and play well on the road. It's got to happen.
I don't know if is this really true? Henry of Scalets puts $10 in the jar. What is that? What's his avatar? Is that some new Game of Thrones character? I don't know.
Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Henry says, I'm a West Virginia fan, but I'm so jealous of Warchant. You guys have such a great media network. I've been watching on and off since the snub. If you get tired of FSU, please come cover West Virginia.
Only if Jimbo goes back. Only if Jimbo goes and is the head coach at West Virginia. That's very nice. If that's real, I promise that's not a plant, everyone. That's a very nice message, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you for that.
Speaking of plants, somebody thinks that a couple people on the message board think that you and I choreograph what we talk about in like take sides. Like we we do good cop, bad cop. Like we're like, all right, what do you want?
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
We don't.
To produce, yeah, we like actually have a meeting. Like, all right, today you're going to be the pro Norvell guy. I'm going to be the anti Norvell guy. And Henry, I'm glad you said that because I do. That's a commentary and a compliment to Gene. He went and got Aslan. He went and got Ira 12 years ago. He brought Jeff and Tom aboard.
Got you,
and obviously got me 7 or 8 years ago. And yeah, man, it just it's kind of taken off the YouTube channel, all the podcasts, and we're very, very fortunate. And so are Florida State fans. Legitimately, because I was thinking about this. Like, there's some things we're not great at. I get it. But you kind of got a little bit of everything. Like Tom and Jeff, played the sport. They know the sport better than Ira and I do, maybe from a on the field perspective. Aslan's polarizing, which is awesome for what we do. And he's good at what he does, producing and being a host and wearing a lot of hats. I'm a goofball, but I'm a goofball that's been around this program for 40 years. So I have a kind of a working knowledge that can come in handy. Mostly it's just useless trivia. But it can come in handy. And we do care. We want to put out good content. And I had a Florida fan tell us, he came up to Jeff and Ira and I, and he's like, you know what? He goes, I listen to Seminole headlines and I'm a Florida fan. And I tell all my Florida buddies that we need a show like this. Like, it's not fair that Florida State gets a show like this. And that's not me patting myself on the back. Well, it is kind of. But yeah, that's always good to hear from another fan base that we're doing things that I think aren't normal in the media space for covering college sports. And that's always fun to hear.
That's right, man. And you can join it for only $1 a week, everybody. Kelly O. Next head coach, Kendal Briles.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Come on.
Only if he brings Art along. Maybe Art could be. No, I don't think so. Thank you, Kelly. I don't think so. Kendall's still in Arkansas?
No.
Is that right? Where's Kendall?
No. TCU, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't. I think they got there are bigger, better names out there they can go get. I think. Again, I'm all about give me one of the coordinators from one of the big schools or Franklin. I'm all about those, and I think they're all possibilities.
Remember when I asked Kendall when Willie got let go if he'd want to be the head coach here?
No. What did he say?
He's like, yeah.
Oh, did he?
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can find it. I'll let you go on this one for a minute while I try to locate.
Is Kendal Briles like a head coaching prospect, or?
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, never.
You don't ever hear his name, but he's been pretty good everywhere he's been. He's done well with offenses, but you don't ever hear his name. I don't know if it's because that last name doesn't actually give people a lot of warm fuzzies, but yeah, he's been a good college coach.
Philip Montgomery, the interim coach at Virginia Tech, he's part of the tree, the Briles tree. So, for whatever that's
worth. Okay.
Corey Bates, Clay County's own. If you need your car detailed in the greater Jacksonville area, check out Corey Bates. Yo, I'm in the minority. I love Mike Norvell.
He might be saying he loves Minnesota. He could be saying he loves Minnesota right there. That's with the abbreviation.
Yeah. I've never been to Minnesota. I've never even had a flight connect in Minneapolis.
I haven't either. That's what I think I've been to like 40 states. I need to knock off I've never been to New England. Like I've never been to like Maine or New Hampshire. That's like 8 states in a day. I could just roll through those. And I already knocked Hawaii and Alaska off the list. So I'm pretty close to getting all 50. I need to do that before I die. And I don't think I've ever been to Minnesota either.
When you go to Alaska?
After my senior year of high school, my dad organized a week-long trip in Alaska where we walked on a glacier, we kayaked the Bering Strait. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever done in my life. I had to fly we were on a 4-seat plane flying to this remote Cordova Island and somewhere in Alaska, landed in Anchorage, and then we were like, okay, we're meeting our guide here and we're going to take another flight to the camp. And I'm like, wait, what? And we walk out on the runway. And it is a 4-seater where we're all wearing headsets. And I can't believe I did that. I would not have done it if I guess I wasn't scared back then, clearly. But yeah, when I was 18, it was fun. It was actually really cool trip.
Yeah, man. Some good father-son bonding. Hopefully Brady gets something cool like that.
Hey, Kelly was there too. My sister was there too. It was a cool family trip with the three of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Back to Corey Bates, man. Corey Bates has been active in the comment section, or as active as you can be when everybody pretty much is on the opposite side of your belief system. But he says that I'm a young fan that did not experience the dynasty. I don't understand the standard. 2023 was the best year of my life, going to most home games, as well as Orlando and Charlotte. Sorry.
Don't apologize, Corey. Thank you very much for the tip. And don't apologize. I do have to remind people a lot, and I do it a lot on the show too much, and not with Aslan, just with the questions that we get. That like it was 2 years ago. Game. It was 2 years ago. They had a 19-game winning streak and should have been in the playoff, and probably had either the best or the second best team in the country with a healthy Jordan Travis. At least one that could have actually legitimately competed for a national championship. They were really good. That was 2 years ago with this coach. I think the worry, and I understand that wasn't that long ago. That was a fun season. The worry when it comes to Norvell is if you look at it and wonder, okay, well, how did he get that guy, and that guy? And is that sustainable? Is that a sustainable way to build a program? Because it doesn't appear he's good at sustaining it because he had the worst season in school history right after that. A complete failure, as he called it on Monday. But why did you have a complete failure? Great coaches don't have complete failures. Not unless it's ravaged by injuries or a flu breakout or something. Like they all get Ebola. Like you don't have complete failures if you've done your job as a coach. You have disappointing seasons, but you don't fly off the rails. And then to follow up 2-10 with a great September and then the worst month probably the worst month of his tenure, that's not great in back-to-back years. So that's why people have lost all hope because he got a mulligan, and maybe he shouldn't have, but he got a mulligan after 2024, and then he came back, started off great, and then had another 4-game losing streak. So that's where it is. I like him too. I like him as a person. I do. I liked him today when we talked to him, Aslan.
Yeah,
he comes in kind of joking around and being a little self-deprecating. Like I like him as a person.
Yeah. I know. And for this, we're gonna get James Franklin. He's gonna hate me, man. And I'm probably not. And that's the thing. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I wonder if I'm ever gonna be able to feel the love for Florida State that I did before I started doing this job, man. Because
it goes away. It goes away. It has to. It's a different dynamic now.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, maybe I don't like Jimbo if I was here covering the team, right? Like maybe like he would have rubbed me the wrong way with the way he spoke to me or answered, fielded my questions. But you guys talked about it on headlines, and listen, this is not why you keep your job or whatever. But working on this side of things, I know no one feels bad for us. I'm not playing a violin, but I would point out in headlines like he's always been respectful. Like Norvell's never. Norvell could have done a victory lap after Alabama and said some stuff or like I read everybody here that wrote everything about us going to this game, and now
like Justin Cryer did. Honestly, Justin Cryer did after the Alabama game, and he's not saying much anymore.
Yeah, so he's never done anything like that. He really does come into every single press conference, and we shoot the breeze for like 30 seconds, a minute before we actually start recording. He's cordial, and then I just want this place to be good, though. I just want this place to win and be in good hands. And if it means some guy that's going to hate my questions even more than Norvell and like be even that bigger of a prick to me. Not that Norvell's been a prick to me, but I'll take it. I'll take the arrows for you, everybody.
And so when I think about, and going back to what you said about you kind of lose your love a little bit, it's not, you still love college. I still love college football. I don't go and cheer anymore. I haven't cheered at a Florida State game in who knows how long. 06? It's been 20 years. And there wasn't much to cheer at that year. I think the Wake Forest game was the last game I went to as a fan, the 30-0 game. Isn't that great? No, I was at Clemson, Jimbo's first game, the Monday night game where they lost like 19-13 or something.
I was there too.
Didn't cheer much that one either. And then I've been covering the team ever since. And yeah, you do kind of lose the fandom aspect of it. But when it comes to our jobs and what we do, we know so many people. And you're a grad. I'm not a grad of Florida State. But my wife is a grad of Florida State. She got one of her degrees from here. My ex-wife is a grad from Florida State. My dad was a grad from Florida State. I have a lot of really good friends that love Florida State and went to Florida State, and I want them to be happy and feel joy. It also helps our business when they're good. 2023 was great for business. Not going to lie, 2025 is pretty good for business too right about now because there's a coaching search. But I want greatness, and the reason I brought this up is because it goes back to the start of the show. I've never done this before or since. Haven't had a lot of reasons to. But I remember getting Jimbo after practice one day, spring of 2014. And I just went up to him and I'm like, hey, man, I just wanted to thank you. And he goes, what? I go, I just want to thank you. I know we have a job and we play our roles and I'm a media member, but 2013 was the most fun year of my life. My son was 5, kind of getting into sports. I got to fly my wife out to Pasadena, California to watch her alma mater win the FN National Championship because of Jimbo Fisher and what he did. And so I just thanked him for it. And, you know, then he was cursing my name 2 years later, but whatever. At that moment, he's like, hey, he goes, I do appreciate that. And he's like, and he told me, I remember he said, it's still surreal. It still doesn't feel like we won it yet. Because he's just on to the next thing. And this was like 4 or 5 months later. So anyway, I always thought, so I don't know why I even brought that up, but that reminded me of that moment where I did legitimately thank him. I might have thanked Leonard too. I think I thanked Leonard after the last time I talked to him, but I did thank Jimbo just because it was such a fun, awesome season, and I got to document it, and I got to be there and go to a lot of cool places, all because of that team being so awesome.
I found it. This will be our moment of Zen, and we'll exit on this. Hopefully, you guys can hear this. Let's turn a little volume up while I'm good there.
Oh, Kendal Briles.
So everybody's in a good mood, and yeah, it was a great day. It was a great idea by Coach Odell.
Did you guys do something like that again this Sunday at church?
Yeah, we all went to church this Sunday.
Would you have interest in being the head coach here?
No, I mean, yeah, of course. My goodness, you kidding me? Yeah, it's top 10 job in the country, and you got great leadership and administrative people here. So absolutely. But right now, I'm trying to get through this practice and get to the next one.
You heard it, everybody. Kendal Briles called it a top 10 job, Corey.
But, I just wish you should play that on a loop for the people that, Florida State's going to get the 8th best coach on the board or the 12th best coach, or Florida State's lost all this luster. I know that was 6 years ago, but by God, they just won 19 games in a row 2 years ago. They were a playoff team 2 years ago. I promise you, the way that disenfranchised, disappointed Florida State fans view this current job is not the reality of what football people view this job. I mean, I love that reaction. Kendal Briles has been in the sport his whole life. He goes, no. Are you kidding me? Of course, you could ask any coordinator in America. Would you be interested in being the head coach of Florida State? They'd be like, what? Yes. What? Where do I sign? Yeah, that's a really cool clip.
All right, there we go. We're done. I don't know what happened to my screen, but it is the size of a postage stamp right now, so I can't do anything cool. But I do want to thank everybody for being here. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Thanks to Corey Bates. Thanks to Kelly O. Thanks to Henry, the West Virginia fan. Thanks to Never Lose Your Nerd. Also, thanks to Aaron P., as well as Needle
Never
Knight.
Lose Your Nerd. Come back at me when they rip off these 3 straight wins, buddy. Come on now. You got to believe. You got to believe.
And shout out to Joel Davis, the Pillar, triumphant return. He drinks Vitamin Energy. Maybe that's why he's so successable. VitaminEnergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. Give it a try, everybody. He's Corey, and I'm Aslan. And Jeff Cameron, we hope, sending best wishes out to Jeff as he had to deal with a medical issue in his family, but apparently everything is okay. He wasn't able to do his show on Wednesday, but hopes a return to the airwaves on Thursday.
Sounds like I just got a text from him. Sounds like everything's checked out okay, and he will be able to be on the air tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic.
Which is very good news.
He might not have his game pick in for the Warchant report, but Corey Clark's going to have his game pick. So will Gene Williams and Irish O'Fell and Tom Lang and Matt Lassera, and maybe even myself. So be on the lookout. Plenty of content coming your way. Again, hit the thumbs up on the way out. Thanks to our guy, Andrew, behind the scenes. You're getting all the questions queued up. Certainly do appreciate that. Have a great one, everybody. It's been Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, VitaminEnergy.com, warchantbogo,